What's up, big guy?
How are you, Gino? Nice to see you.
Here we go again.
Go again.
How many years ago was it when we did this same exact thing?
I think it was just last year, you know? Just 1 year ago.
Was it only 1 year?
Yeah, I ran last year.
It seems longer.
Wasn't that long?
No, you're right. Gosh darn it, how you been?
I've been very well, Gino. You know, just just finishing up lunch, you know, for work and working hard, and the winter's been slow and steady, and the spring is very, very busy, you know. So that's
what are you doing for work?
I do masonry. I'm working with Andy Bacino right now in Penn Austin.
Okay.
Working on the Pacific Club right now.
On the Pacific Club?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing down there?
We're repointing a lot of the bricks on the north side, and then we're reinstating like the traditional arches that were there originally back in the day on the north side. So.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So how come you're running again?
How come I'm running again?
Yeah.
Well, I met so many people who were just so encouraging again this year.
Yep.
I got a ton of great votes last year.
Yeah, you did. You almost pulled it off.
Almost pulled it off, you know. I think I was, people were telling me I was the first person in 10 years to win a third of the vote and not get elected.
Wow. So, and that was your first time running,
That was my first time running. And so I'm doing the same thing, focusing on the same issues I did last year.
Right.
And, you know, it's just, you know, the people want me to run, so I'm running, you know. It feels great, you know.
Well. Listen, I've asked all you guys, all 7 candidates, to ask their own question that they want the other candidate to answer. Okay? And everyone posed a great question, and let's start it all off by Patty Ragavine's question. How should the town continue its efforts to live within expected revenue?
I think what the town needs to do is look at, kind of, instead of looking every year at what our budget is, you know, we're not really looking long term. So I see a lot of projects being spent. We put up the capital for that one project. It doesn't seem like a lot, but at the end of the year or the end of 5 years, we've spent a ton of money on things. I was at a meeting two meetings ago, and we were talking about building a bike path down Washington Street, building a dam at the duck pond to control water coming in out of there. We're talking about a $20 million project down Washington Street where, you know, there's some other things we could do to save that money, where, you know, there was a plan, a Mid-Island plan, talking about creating Sparks and Pleasant Street to be one-ways. We could build a bike path in there. We could save $20 million, just like that. You know, there's lots of things. If we look at the big picture, we can solve the town's financial issues and live within our means. Okay. And I'm a big supporter of that. You know, I nickel and dime everywhere I can in my own life.
Is that what you want people to know?
I want people to know. I made buttons that are recycled paper. All my signs are recycled. You know, it's all reusing stuff, using what you have, working with that. So it's.
Is that your recycling furniture sign that I see around? What's that? Is that you?
That's not me. I don't sell recycling. I'm not in the furniture.
Why does it say Glidden Recycling Furniture?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure. I thought it was your.
You know, there's a lot of family here, so who knows? You know.
You can't keep track of them all. All right. So Matt Fee's question.
Nice.
What do you think is the biggest problem facing us as a community, and what do you think the selectmen can and should do to address it?
Biggest problem. I guess just from what I see it is there's a growing lack of consensus on whatever we're doing, whatever the issue is. I have this feeling like Nantucketers used to work more together, and we were all in it together. Everybody was involved more in government because the town was smaller. And when I stand outside the Stop and Shop and I'm shaking hands, I'm meeting a lot of Jamaicans, I'm meeting people from the Dominican Republic, from Bulgaria, and I'm realizing that the island's changing, and those people aren't being brought into the ethics of the island and to what's really great about the island and being encouraged to be a part of it. So I think the biggest issue facing us is a sense of solidarity. We need to have that.
Okay. And how would you address it, though? How do you go about doing that?
Well, I'm running as selectman. I'm trying to just get more people involved, you know, to create a more accountable government, to encourage people, to show that even though I'm only 25 years old, I can go out, I can get votes, I can get people involved. And I think that's a great way of solving it. You know, democracies are only as good as if they're accountable for their actions. So I think if we get more people involved, get more people voting, that can really make a big difference on solving whatever their problems are. Whatever the big issue is, whether it's going to be the sewer, whether it's going to be pensions, whether it's going to be a new fire station, you know, whatever the cost may be, which the town has mounting costs, I think we can solve it together.
All right, Alan Reinhardt's question. Why do you believe voters should choose you over other candidates for a seat on the Board of Selectmen? What abilities and attributes make you most qualified for this town governing board?
All right, so I'll take that question in two parts. So there's right now the kind of the field of candidates who are running. A lot of them are already on boards, have been on boards in the past, and are very involved. And so I think one of the things I bring to the table is that I'm someone with new ideas who's gonna integrate with people in the town, bring others into the town. That's bringing a new resource in. Right now we're just shuffling around people from the Conservation Foundation, from the FinCom, from the Selectmen. It's just kind of moving around, which is great because it shows there's a few people who really care, but we really need to have more ideas. As far as me individually, why people should vote for me, I think as a young person, I'm familiar with reaching out to people. I have a lot of energy. I want to talk to people. My campaign is all about interacting with folks, getting to know people, and taking their issues to a higher level to deal with them. Because I think that it's those little things in life that really make it valuable, you know? Make it worth living. Increasing the quality of life on Nantucket is really important.
Okay. Next question is from Stephen Morey. In the last couple of years, we've seen volunteers resign from advisory committees, including the Town Energy Study Committee and the Taxi Advisory Committee. How do you think the Board of Selectmen has handled citizen input, and if elected, what would you do differently?
That's a great question. Well, first off, I've got a lot of I kind of had a similar situation myself when I tried to get appointed to the Finance Committee last year, and where I got 800 votes and then not a single vote from the Board of Selectmen. And I was there was 4 seats open, there was 4 candidates, and they kind of pushed me aside and they picked someone that they wanted in a bit of a dubious process. So I'm a big supporter of getting in there and really appointing the people who really care and supporting whatever the commission is to do what it does and say what it thinks is right, to come to its own conclusions, because those commissions are made up by the people, for the people. And having, you know, the way the taxi problem is being handled is completely unprofessional. It's a shame to see our governing committees not having the input they should be allowed. You know, I think a tax-free advisory board is great. It brings citizens in, it brings government, it brings private industry like the taxpayers, and it allows them to work together in a forum. Right now, things are just being pushed through and controlled by those who have the means of controlling them.
Who's that?
Some higher members in the town, you know, the police chief, namely is in concerns of the energy. We're seeing, as far as, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The police chief, as far as the taxis are concerned, that issue.
Yeah.
As far as energy concerned, it was kind of an all-out attack against the Energy Committee for what they were trying to do, which was promote renewable energy, to save people money. Nantucketers are paying 18 cents a kilowatt for electricity, sometimes even more. It's one of the highest rates in the country, and here's a community volunteer group going out there trying to help people save money, and they throw them to the dogs. You know, it really is really upsetting. So I would be totally supporting of committees, even if I disagree with what they say. I think it's important to let them come to their conclusions and move forward from that, understanding that the selectmen don't have the time to deal with every single issue 100%, and so we need to have faith in the people we appoint. Okay. Great question.
You got it. I'm glad we got you going there. So here's yours. This will get you going. This is your question, Tobias. What do you believe will be the most difficult part for you in being a selectman?
Well, all right, fun. Okay, so this one I got asked the other day at the Inquirer Mirror, and I hadn't really thought about it until I asked it, so I had a little bit of preparation. One of my real weaknesses as an individual is I'm not a very good writer. I have difficulty writing, and I have sometimes difficulty spelling. And so kind of that format of things is a real challenge for me, but it can also be a strength because it encourages me to bring people in and help me write and interact with people in a more positive way. So that's going to be one of the hardest things for me in learning the new position.
Okay, all the writing that you'll have to do.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Carol Dunton's question. Do you think selectmen should have been more diligent in supervision of the Airport Commission and the Airport Enterprise account during the several years the financial problems were allowed to develop?
Well, I think that goes, it's kind of two parts. One, it goes back to how, the biggest role the Board of Selectmen has is appointing people. A great government, is made up of rivals. It's made up of people who are working together with different ideas to come up with a good solution. And I think with better appointments to the Airport Commission, we could have avoided a lot of these problems, and encouraging and really respecting what people have to say, because I believe there was whistleblowers and things were kind of pushed under the carpet. So I think we need to really respect when people come out and say things. We need to acknowledge that. And I do think to a certain extent the current board didn't tackle things as quickly as they could have, as far as seeing the gravity of the situation and dealing with it in an efficient manner.
Okay. And then Joe Dooley's question. Do you remember how Nantucket used to be?
I have a few. I'm a little younger than a lot of the people running, so I can only tell you a few things. But I remember cutting up tuna that was landed right down there on the docks, and people wheeling it over on a dolly, 1,000-pound tuna, and my dad showing me how to cut it up. And that was, for me, a really special thing, and that really doesn't happen on the island a lot. And so I do remember, to a certain extent, through stories from my grandfather and from my family, of what Nantucket used to be, and I try to live by that. The whole spirit of, if you don't have the money to build something, you kind of scrape together, the old Nantucketer ways. That's what I love about the island. That's what makes it great. And I think, back to the, earlier is what I was saying about bringing people in to our kind of culture here on the island. I think that's really what we need to be doing, is sharing stories, sharing ideas, and encouraging people to be part of this community and work together to solve issues.
Anything else you want to say to the community, to the folks out there?
It's your government. Just please get out and vote. I don't care if you vote for me or not. I just want you to vote, because unless you vote, you can't complain about anything. So get out there and vote. It would be awesome to see 50% people going out there and voting. That would just make me so happy, just to show that people care about the government. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to see you, buddy. All right. Good luck to you.
We'll be in touch.
You bet.